What if the walls of your home started whispering? Would you listen? Picture this: a family brimming with joy and anticipation steps over the threshold of their new home, an old house rich in character and history. The air is thick with the scent of polished wood and the faintest hint of nostalgia. They explore, laughter echoing through the spacious rooms, the promise of a fresh start infusing their spirits. But soon things begin to change. The house, once filled with the sounds of joy, starts echoing with something else. A soft rustling, like whispers, begins to emanate from the walls. At first they dismiss it as the house settling, the wind playing tricks. But then the whispers become more frequent, more eerie. A chill creeps into the air and their laughter fades, replaced by hushed conversations and worried glances. As days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. The family could no longer ignore them. Soon the whispers turned into an eerie symphony, terrorizing the once happy family. This was no longer a house of joy and laughter. It had become a dwelling of dread and unease. Each corner and crevice seemed to resonate with an unsettling murmur, a constant reminder of the invisible presence they shared their home with. The family's days were filled with a mounting sense of fear. The nights were even worse. As the whispers grew louder, more insistent, the parents would hold their children close, their hearts pounding in time with the rhythm of the whispers. The once comforting darkness of the night was now a canvas for their vivid imaginations, painting terrifying images fueled by the chilling sounds. Then, something even more disturbing started to occur. The whispers began to respond. A casual conversation about a lost toy would be met with a hum from the walls, leading them right to it. A discussion about a forgotten childhood memory would trigger a whisper that seemed to echo the sentiment. It was as if the walls were listening, understanding, and reacting. The family tried everything they could to find the source of the whispers. They called in experts, from electricians to paranormal investigators, to check the wiring, the walls, the history of the house. But every attempt was met with the same result: nothing. No explanation, no source, no rational reason for the whispers. The investigators left with a chill running down their spines, the echoes of the whispers lingering in their ears. The family felt trapped. Their home had turned into a prison. The walls, once a symbol of safety and shelter, were now a source of terror. The whispers were omnipresent, a constant reminder of the unknown. Fear had woven itself into the very fabric of their lives, transforming their reality into a nightmare. The house seemed to be alive, watching, whispering, waiting, but for what? The question hung in the air, as palpable as the fear that gripped them. As the whispers continued, growing louder with each passing day, they couldn't help but wonder, what was the house waiting for? The family decided to unravel the mystery. They needed to confront the whispering walls. With a resolve steeled by fear and curiosity, they embarked on a quest to unearth the secrets of their new home. Their investigations took them on a journey through time as they delved deep into the history of the house. They combed through dusty archives and scoured faded newspapers for any trace of the past that might shed light on the present. The more they uncovered, the more they felt like detectives in their own horror story. They reached out to previous owners, hoping for answers. However, the encounters often ended in hushed whispers and fearful glances. It was as if the house had cast a shadow over their lives, one that they were glad to have escaped. But they were not the only ones who had tales to tell. The family also interviewed neighbors who shared chilling anecdotes and legends that had been whispered down through the generations. One neighbor, an elderly woman who had lived in the area all her life, spoke of strange occurrences and eerie sounds that echoed through the night. She spoke of previous residents who had left hurriedly, driven away by the unexplained whispers in the walls. Another neighbor, a man of few words, simply said, "That house has always been trouble." As they pieced together the fragments of the house's dark past, a chilling picture began to emerge. stories of strange happenings, of spectral voices, and of fear that clung to the walls like a shroud. It was clear that their home was steeped in a history that was as haunting as the whispers they heard. As the days turned into weeks, the family's investigation became an obsession. The whispers were no longer just sounds, they were voices from the past, crying out to be heard. The family had moved into a house, but they had also stepped into a mystery that was far from ordinary. They discovered something horrifying. The house was not just an ordinary house, it was a tomb. Beneath the layers of paint and plaster, the walls held a chilling secret. This secret was not just a relic from the past, but a gruesome testament to the house's horrifying history. Hidden within the walls, the family discovered something that would forever change their perception of their new home. What they found were human remains, bones that had been concealed within the very structure of the house. Their once warm and welcoming abode was now a chilling crypt, a silent tomb that held the remains of countless lost souls. As they dug deeper, the whispers grew louder, more desperate, more haunting. The whispers were not just eerie sounds echoing in the night. They were voices, each one telling a tale of terror and despair. The family, horrified and disturbed, dug into the history of the house. Their investigation led them to a name that was synonymous with fear and dread in the local lore. A previous owner who was a notorious serial killer. This man, this monster, had used the house not just as his residence, but as his hunting ground. This man was known to lure his victims to his home with a charming facade. Once they were within his grasp, he would unleash his true nature. Each victim was not just killed, but was made to suffer a horrifying fate. Their final moments were filled with terror and pain, their pleas for mercy trapped within the walls of this house of horrors. And so the whispers that the family heard were not just figments of their imagination. They were the cries of the victims, their pleas for help, their desperate prayers for salvation. The serial killer, in his twisted mind, believed that by trapping the souls of his victims within the walls, he could keep them forever. He believed that their spirits were his trophies, his conquests. But he was wrong. The spirits were not his trophies. They were his victims, trapped in a never-ending cycle of fear and torment. The walls of the house were not just walls. They were a prison for the souls of the victims. And the whispers were their cries, their pleas for freedom. Each whisper was a voice that had been silenced too soon, a voice that yearned for justice. And so the family found themselves living in a house of horrors, a house that was a tomb for lost souls. They were surrounded by the echoes of a horrifying past, a past that was filled with pain and terror. But they were not just witnesses to this past. They were the ones who had uncovered it, the ones who had brought the dark secret of the house to light. The whispers were not just noises. They were voices, cries for help, echoes of a horrifying past. With the dark secret revealed, the family had to make a choice. A choice that was as chilling as the whispers that had echoed through their once beloved home. To stay would mean living with the ghostly reminders of a past too gruesome to bear, too dark to forget. To leave would mean abandoning the house that had become their home. But it was a price they were willing to pay for peace. They chose to leave, packing their belongings with heavy hearts and an even heavier silence. The whispers that once filled the walls were noticeably absent, replaced by an eerie quietude that seemed to mourn their departure. But it wasn't a mourning of loss, rather a mourning for the peace that could have been, the life that could have been lived within these walls if not for the monstrous secret they held. The family didn't just leave, though. They took it upon themselves to ensure that the victims found their peace, too. They reached out to the authorities, retelling the chilling tale that the walls had whispered to them. A tale of horror, a tale of lost souls trapped within the confines of the house, yearning for release, yearning for peace. The house was sealed off, its doors shut for the last time. The whispers that had once echoed through its halls were now trapped within, a chilling testament to the dark secret it held. The once lively home was now a silent tomb, its only inhabitants the echoes of a past too gruesome to forget. But the family's story didn't end there. They found a new home, a new beginning. They found peace, not in forgetting the horrors they had experienced, but in knowing they had done what they could to lay the victims to rest, to give them the peace they had been denied in life. In the end, the whispering walls fell silent, holding within them a secret too dark to ever be forgotten. The family left, but the whispers stayed, forever echoing within the eerie silence of the sealed-off house, a chilling reminder of the dark secret it held.